Boom. Hey.
Hi.
Sunday leftovers on a Tuesday morning with Sarah from Massachusetts, y'all.
Yes.
So not Caesar today, as you can see. We've upgraded. We've paid for the upgrade, and we got rid of the Chilean. So this is a real treat for us. Oh no. This is a treat for us today because we don't always get to see in person our out-of-town folks.
Yep.
And Sarah, you've been tracking with us for how long online?
Oh gosh, from the beginning. I visited y'all first in person in January of 2019.
So a year before we shut the world down.
Yes.
So you were tracking because of distance, because you live in Boston. You were tracking with us online.
Yep.
That was probably in a podcast form, wasn't it? Or it wasn't a live? Were we live streaming in 2019? Were you watching?
No, I came in person
to
a service. And then I don't know when y'all went online.
We started online right before COVID.
Okay.
And it was Ratchet Bush League times 10.
Yeah.
But
so I followed on socials and all that sort of stuff. And then when y'all went like fully online.
So there's like a recurring name or face on the feed. I don't pay much attention to it, but I've been seeing your name.
Okay.
So much so that when you turned up in the building on Sunday, you looked totally familiar to me. I'm like, oh, it's Sarah. It's no big deal. Yeah,
so weird.
Yeah. So what brings you to Austin? And tell us sort of your journey and how you find ANC. Yeah.
Oh gosh. So I'm in Austin visiting my best friend.
Boom.
Yes.
Yeah.
I try and come out once a year because I love it here and I love her. And I just sort of stumbled onto ANC and just fell in love. The first service that I went to in person, it was MLK weekend.
Okay.
And I don't think there was a sermon. There may have been. It was all around being hands and feet in the community. And I remember thinking, this is my kind of place.
Yeah.
And my kind of people. And so that's sort of how I landed and have stayed connected.
What's it like being part of a community that you don't have access to physically? Like, what's it like?
I can tell you it's a little surreal to be I feel like it's sitting here with you because I watch Sunday Leftovers all the time. Being in church in the space was really surreal and amazing. I think you all do a really great job with staying connected to the out-of-towners. There's a lot of ways for us to engage, aside from just watching the Sunday service, for example.
Right.
So I always felt like y'all have been my friends forever. Then I show up in person and we get to hug necks and stuff. So
maybe next fall, maybe when we do the next Coho weekend, coming home weekend.
Yes.
Maybe we'll see you again. Who knows?
Yes,
Who knows?
I know. I wasn't able to make the coming home weekend.
Yeah. Dana works really hard. So for those of you who don't know Dana Williams.
Yes, she's amazing.
She's our board member at large. She lives she partially lives in Houston and partially lives in Austin now. But our effort over COVID to, when everyone was virtual for 20 months, was to not lose that voice. And so if you're going to keep that perspective sort of baked into the cake of how you lead, then you got to have somebody on the board that represents that. So Dana was that first person. Now it's Amy Borders as well as Dana. So now 2 out of our 10 board members are abroad. One's in Atlanta, one's in Houston. So, but it's always fun to meet. It's always fun to meet you guys when you come in.
Yeah,
so we're deep in the series now. Trey and I were talking this morning about how many more weeks we're going to be talking about doubt. And
forever. Every
week. He threw out a couple of dates, and I said, well, I doubt that. And so anyway, we did some planning today. You know, some mules you have to drag backwards into the barn at night.
Yes.
That's me with planning.
Got it.
Like you got to pull the tail and back me in. But we did some planning this morning, and so we'll probably stay on this for a few more weeks. We've got Laura Hollers is going to speak on the 7th of May. Then we got Uncle Stan coming back. He hates that I call him Uncle, but anyway, we got Stan coming, and then we've got Mother's Day. That'll be the Stan weekend, and then we'll probably finish the doubt on the 21st of May, I'm thinking. Okay. But for now, it still feels important, and I've still had conversation after conversation. One just this morning was Scott. Scott is one of my friends from here. He's an ANC guy. About how it's just refreshing to hear, in his experience for the first time in church, an open discussion around you don't have to believe all these things to be part of this community. And I've always located that in the fact that the people around Jesus didn't believe all the same things either. So, so what's in you as we think through doubt, and what does it mean to hear this in church, assuming that's had an impact on you?
Yeah. Well, I was raised, I was actually baptized Episcopalian, and then my mom's family was very involved with the First Baptist Church.
Oh, wow.
So that was kind of my home for a while. And never really felt connected. I have to say ANC, and I'm not saying this because you're here, but ANC is really the first place where I've felt connected, where I feel that I'm surrounded by people who have the same question marks above their heads, and a lot of lived experiences that are celebrated, because I have never been in a church like that. And so to have a conversation, it's so funny, right? Because we doubt a lot of things in our lives, but for some, this sanctity, this is not to be doubted, but everything else should be.
Or even interesting spin on that would be all these other places in your life, doubt can exist, but not on Sunday morning. You leave that at home. You don't bring that with you at home. And my argument has been that what that does is that shatters your inside, that splinters your inside, because now we're creating this sense in which no wonder people don't understand what we mean when we say integration, because we actually have institutionalized the encouragement to put containers in your life, because you're not allowed to bring disbelief on Sunday. Right. We just nod and we go along and we say, this makes sense. And the reality, when you get home Sunday night or Sunday afternoon or Monday morning and you're talking with friends at the water cooler at work, all these things are in question. Doubt is it's part of the human evolution. It's part of the human psyche. And so what we're doing essentially is just saying, bring that on Sunday. And each time we open the mic, it's another experience of, I can't believe someone just said that, and I'm so glad they did. And I maybe have been waiting for someone to say that forever. Like 2 weeks ago, the lady's like, I doubt the disciples didn't have sex. I doubt Jesus didn't have sex.
I'm like, that.
Bring that.
I actually, the open mic is one of my most favorite times.
Oh, we love doing that.
Because it just popcorns all of these things that many of us have been sitting with and holding inside, to be able to speak those out loud and have those be a part of the conversation and honor all of those doubts. Because I think not honoring the doubts and holding the doubt, it can create shame, and
it does.
Really
and then it's actually really hard work to figure out when you're talking, are you safe enough to say this and safe enough to say that? So you have to always micromanage and micro-read your social context, because if, like, let's say you're your coffee shop, like I am at mine, and let's say you're in mixed company. Some of the people go to church with you and some don't.
Right.
You gotta be able to micro-read what you can say and what you can't, because among people of evangelical descending faith in America, doubt was evil. We were told, in fact, doubt was sin. And that, among so many other things, I've learned to question. I think you have got a greater chance in proving that certainty is sin than doubt is sin. And again, how do we say this? Why do we say this? Well, because belief wasn't the ticket to the inner circle of Jesus. It wasn't. In so many cases, and we've gone back and done this slowly over the years, but in so many cases, the angle of these stories proves that these people had absolutely no idea about the need to all believe the same thing. And so I don't know how impactful it will all be in the end, but to me, it feels significant. And I think I keep a mental list going in my mind of what are the things you should never talk about at church, and we just line them up, and those are the little duckies we shoot at, because it seems to be working.
It does, yes. And I think also with the talking into the mic, right? Phil Donahue. I think y'all have done a really nice job of creating like the psychological safety. It's a safe space for people to share out loud what all of those doubts are.
I hope that's the case. So I hope that's the case. And so as the leader of this community, I would say, boy, I think we are. But it's not really for me to say. The proof is in what do people do when the mic gets opened?
Yes, totally.
And what are the things people are willing to actually say? And that first Sunday still blew me away. It started with Saul. Saul just right in, and so the challenge is, and this is where we are. We always tease the next Sunday a little bit. So this is I'm already 3,000 words into the next sermon, and it comes from John 10. But the challenge is, can we create in a same physical space? Can we take the place that was a place of wounding? Can it become a place of healing? And so the answer to that's complicated. It can for some. It won't for others. It won't for others. It was too much. But so many of the people that we see on a Sunday morning, I would say by far the vast majority, are somehow willing to come back to a place where something was taken from them, and they're willing to write a new chapter to that story. So
such bravery.
It's courageous, and it has nothing to do with what I'm doing. It has to do with people's ability to hear the difference between a gospel that sets all things free and everything else they were taught they had to swallow to get that. So our community is very courageous, and I admire that, and it's an honor to lead that. And we're constantly looking for a way to take the very place that was a place where you lost your agency, or where your agency, you had to give it in exchange for belonging.
Or you never had it.
Or yeah, right? Exactly. Or if you were a person of color or a woman or whatever else, you just really didn't have it. But what you did have, you would have to give it in exchange for the delight of belonging, and it would be withheld from you if you got out of the line.
Yes.
How do you take that same awkward, strange space with a cross hanging at the top and say that we want this to triage now, right, sort of the injury of religious trauma?
Yes.
And I don't know if we can do it, but we're trying. Mm-hmm. I'm sort of staking everything on that.
Mm-hmm. Well, I wonder, like, post this official series of doubt, I feel like there's always room for it to be in the conversation without labeling it or branding it as doubt. And I think the sermons do a really nice job of inviting that in without necessarily calling it doubt, right? Because I think we might all have ideas of what doubt is, or we physically respond in that feeling of what doubt is, right? So
we still need to have a committed, principled, articulate atheist preach for us. We do.
Yeah.
We do. We're incomplete without a bunch of missing voices. We've barely begun to add some of those voices that are forever going to be outside of our belief structure, and yet can inform profoundly the things we do. But it's a lot to ask an atheist to step to a pulpit in a church.
Yes.
It's a lot. I'm still dreaming of the day.
Yeah.
I have some out there in the crowd. I know who they are, but they're courageous enough to admit it.
Yeah.
But the freedom to say there's a different reason to come and be part of this community, other than because we all believe unanimously or consensually about all the same details, feels like a wider lane. And so I think voices that we've never heard from before are going to start moving to the center. And some of the folks that these tenets of Christianity have always been just good enough are going to have to release a tiny bit of those reins a little.
Yeah.
And we'll see what happens next. But no guarantees. But as long as delightful people who live in Boston, or what do you call it, the Cape?
The Cape.
The Cape. She literally said, oh yeah, and then I moved to the Cape. And I'm like, you're going to need to explain that because that means something to you. You mean Cape of Good Fear? Or Cape, the
Cape Fear,
Cape
which
Fear?
is in North Carolina. Yeah. Cape of Good Hope, not that.
Cape of Good Hope. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah. So the Cape meaning Cape Cod?
Yes, Cape Cod.
Cape Cod.
Yes, indeed.
But as long as this little thing we do down here draws people in from Cape Cod who say it means something to me that you do this, I think it's all worth it. So.
Yeah, thank you.
Who's with you?
Oh, would you like to say hi, Liza?
Liza, come say hello. Y'all have to see Liza.
Say hi?
Aw.
Okay. Oh, did you fall down?
Did you? Okay. Oh, sweetie.
Can you look into the camera over there and say hi to everybody?
Say hello. All right, there you have it. Sunday Leftovers on a Tuesday.
Thank you,
Sarah.